What is going on? Tomboy Official. Good morning. I don't know what time I'm actually gonna post this. I hope everybody's doing okay out there in LA. I am feeling well rested. It's been a while. But last night, oh man, my sinuses were really not doing well. But today I feel better. The plan was to get up early, start early, which I did do, and I did do that, and I feel better. Did a lot of stretching to get my back in order. I was gonna go out and do some deliveries today, but I don't really know. Part of me wants to kind of hang back and get some other stuff done, and not be outdoors. Maybe I'll do like 1 or 2 deliveries. I don't know. But it's really hard to get motivated to do that kind of thing. It's not interesting at all. It's the motivation level that I have to be able to do something like that is just insane. Like I don't usually feel like doing it. It's not like other types of work where it's like, you know, at least when I was working with clients, even though it was intense, it got too intense for my own mental health. It was, at least it was like, okay, I'm helping people. Like during the the fires and things like that going on, I feel like it might be helping people more just because people are kind of home more. I can tell just because I live off of a really busy highway, and the traffic has been kind of you can just tell when there aren't as many people out. You get used to how loud the traffic is and stuff, and other than near like rush hour yesterday around 5 p.m., there really wasn't a lot of traffic. But it's Friday, so last Friday it was crazy. People were out everywhere. I think they were still not done with vacationing. And so last Friday was strangely way busier than I would ever have wanted anything to be in my life. Because LA is no fun to drive around when there's traffic. And I was driving around in the afternoon, and it was like, that was last Friday. But yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna probably work out indoors a little bit later today, but keep it easy so my breathing doesn't really. It's not gonna be like the most effective workout. It's gonna be more just to like stretch out my body and get some movement. But I got a rave I want to go to tomorrow. I can't go into that cold. I don't know if I'm gonna go. We'll see. I scoped out the location, as far as like where the event's gonna be, and it's this like warehouse, area, this warehouse region, kind of off of this like channel, and it just doesn't it doesn't look like the safest of places to be in the middle of the night. So if I don't go there, I might just end up at my local gay bar, because it's a lot closer. Well, yeah, it's a little bit closer, and it's I think let me check. Actually, I think I can check while I'm still talking on here. I think they have a benefit event going on tomorrow. It's going to be a benefit for the fires, I think. So it looks like tonight is Friday leather night. So tonight might be the night to actually go, but let me see what they've got going down. I thought I saw something. I don't know. I'm trying to check their calendar. I thought I saw something on their calendar. They've got regular events. Tomorrow would be what, the 11th? Why doesn't it say? It doesn't say. Well, I don't know. I thought I saw it though, unless I missed it, but I might go there tomorrow night. I need to get out. I've been home for like, I mean, the last time I went out was like Tuesday, really. I went outside yesterday to like start the car just to make sure, it's an older car, so you gotta start it at least, just make sure the engine's running, make sure the battery doesn't conk out. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing good. I've been loving that I'm seeing, online a lot of queer people getting involved, in LA. A lot of the content creators I follow are LGBT, obviously, on Instagram. So most of the content I follow on Instagram is LGBT or dance or music related. I or comedy related. I think I almost don't really follow too much else. Like African cultural stuff, but usually that tends to be like dance or sometimes food, but I don't really follow. I've had to almost stop watching a lot of food content online because I've realized it makes me hungry, and I didn't really notice that until I was listening to an episode of Handsome Podcast, and I think Fortune Feimster said that their I think TikTok is all just like the algorithm is just like sending them videos of like foods and stuff, and that kind of like got the gears turning in my brain, and I was like, yeah, that might be why I get hungry late at night, because sometimes I find I'm not really hungry, and then I'm watching like these cooking and snack and like baking videos and stuff, and I'm like, man, I really want cookies. It's like just like I all of a sudden get like interested in snacking and stuff. So I think it does affect the person. It affects me, but I think I didn't really notice it. So I'm really gonna have to stop watching like food videos at night. Like after I've eaten, I don't really want to watch them anymore because it makes me want to eat something. I like to watch those review videos where it's like they get like British kids and they're like, British kids try like Korean snacks or whatever. Like I like those kind of videos where it's kind of like cultural foods, but like different cultures trying foods, or like those like tribal, they have those like tribal guys that like try like brisket and like American barbecue and all, like pot roast. I think I saw one for pot roast. They had one for soul food, and they're just so positive about all the foods they're trying. I think it's really sweet to see, and then there's this other guy. I think is he from, I don't know where he's from, but I think he's from Portugal, and he's very he talks a lot about American culture, and some of it, like I don't know when he started, but he started like cooking, so I've been enjoying that. But yeah, I think it's better to like dial it back maybe. And I guess another thing I've been kind of experiencing, I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna talk about the fires. It's part of my life. I don't want to completely like not talk about it, but I don't really have an episode topic. I just wanted to talk about something other than the fires. I don't want to just only focus on that, but just talking about some things that I've been kind of working on. Got the disruption of the fires, kind of affecting things, but I'm sorry, feeling kind of winded. I'm literally just sitting here stretching a little bit, and I kind of got a little winded there, which is weird. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about just, some interests. I'm trying to kind of do some interesting things, some things that kind of cater more towards my interests, but also volunteering. I've done some chat support volunteering for like therapeutic stuff. I don't know if I really can do that today. So I want to find another way to volunteer that's not really diving so much into mental health, because it's been a little difficult the last couple days. I didn't spend all day doing it, just a little bit here and there, and I was actually wanting to do that again today, but I'm like, the way I feel, it's like I actually feel like I've got a burst of energy back, and I don't really think it would benefit me to deplete my energy, because I need my energy to kind of like do some things that I've been kind of slacking on doing, get back into some of those practices and things. Last night was interesting. I packed a go bag, and it was the weirdest experience. Like, I experienced the weirdest, I don't even know. It was like, the best I can describe it, I don't know. This might be, I don't know how to describe it. Have you ever either written, like, if you've written short stories or fan fiction stories or done like role playing, and then you're kind of in this like fantasy story or like scene or something, but then it kind of taps into a part of your brain that's like, is this what it would actually be like? Like, you start getting these like ideas, because it's like, it's not real. I don't know how to explain. How do I explain this? Like, basically, it was like a way of like stepping outside of myself for a while, and like I was almost like watching myself pack this stuff up, and I'm thinking, what would I need? What do I need? Just the places where my mind went. I was like, but I don't know if my mom has packed a to-go bag, so I should pack a little extra, a little extra water, a little extra, I'll bring the bigger toothpaste, the bigger, in case I need to share. My mind was kind of like, okay, what do I need for myself to feel comfortable? And, especially when it's like hygiene and medicine type of stuff, like, I was like, okay, I need melatonin, because there's no way I'm going to be sleeping if I do have to evacuate. There's no way I'm going to just soundly sleep, So I was like, I got to pack a little bit of that, at least enough for a couple days. I got to pack a little bit of, my iron supplements, because even though I don't take them all the time, like I'm supposed to be taking them, I need to pack them anyways, because I need to be taking them, so I need to take it. And then I have another medication I was prescribed that I don't take, but I was like, well, I'll take that too. I never even opened that one, and because I read the side effects, and I was like, these doctors are like trying to, I don't know. I don't want to go into all that, but I was like, I decided to take a natural route to fix my issues versus taking all these medications and things that they were giving me, because they've already given me stuff that screwed up my hormones, and now, they want some other thing. They want me to take some other thing for like blood clotting or whatever, but it can lead to like arthritis symptoms and all these other kind of like side effects, and I'm like, I don't need that, and so I found the tea that helps, and I'd rather just drink the tea, but I'm like, well, I didn't pack the tea, actually. I'm looking right at it, so that would have been something I would have needed to pack. But I was just thinking kind of like, basically, like, what do I kind of need? And it's like, okay, warm clothes, maybe a couple pairs of shorts, couple t-shirts, socks, underwear. I haven't really done laundry for the week, so I don't have like a whole bunch of t-shirts and stuff, but I was like, okay, shirts, just like enough that I could at least have something if I have to like hand wash some clothes. At least I have like a spare, like a sweater. And then thinking about the stuff I didn't pack, it was like such a weird thing. I thought about bringing my exercise bands, to like get exercise. Earbuds. I have earplugs, but earbuds as well, just to block out sound. Because I'm thinking like if I'm around other people, because you know how people like to listen to. I hope wherever that responder is going, I hope that everybody's okay. But I think there's another one coming. I've noticed once they get to our like intersection, they kind of turn off their sirens. I'm wondering what that's all about. But or maybe it's just not busy and they just don't run the sirens when there's nobody right there. But yeah, I was thinking about the stuff that I didn't bring. And I don't know, I've like, I'll be real on here, I had a period in my life where I did what I needed on the financial end to kind of dig myself out of a hole, and I literally got rid of everything. I was renting out, kind of like a loft in an office that had like a shower and then a downstairs bathroom and everything. And it was, a legit place to stay, $500 something rent, no internet, but I had 5G. I had data, unlimited, and I basically got rid of everything that was worth anything except for my car. And as hard as that year was, because I wasn't living near people that I wanted to live near, like it kind of impacted me socially, because I was like, well, I can't really drink because I can't really Uber because it's gonna cost too much. And then it was, because the distance was a little too far to Uber, but I was like 10 to 15 minutes from work, so that was helpful. But I was really close to the border. I was down in San Ysidro, and then like is it the 905? I was down off the 905. Like it's like 2 exits, I think, from the Mexico border. So I was way down in south of San Diego, and like if you know where they built that San Ysidro Rock Church and kind of over near the San Ysidro DMV, I was staying like over there. And I remember that time, and I remember I was a little, it's like, okay, I can't like bring people over, and I can't really like get like easily just get places in like 15 minutes. Like it was a little more out of the way, but everything else was just so simplified. It was like I had nothing, I had nothing other than like the clothing that I had. I had nothing for a while. I had nothing, just like basic comfort, like I had like blankets, pillows, stuff I needed for work, toiletries, like access to food, heating up food and like cooking and stuff. And like there was like a Subway nearby and a little store nearby that was super cheap, and I had a car and stuff, and like I had the basics, I had the basics covered. I wouldn't say I was like necessarily happier, but I felt so much freedom. Like I don't even know how else to describe that time in my life. And there was something about, packing the go bags where I was just looking around and I was like, I could let all this stuff go, It would suck. It would hurt. It would be painful. I have photos and pictures, photographs that people have given me, music that I've written, things that I've written, journals from like even back in high school, like poetry, all kinds of creative stuff that I would never be able to recreate that or get it back. I've got like old cassette tapes and things, but it's like it's all stuff from the past. Mostly what I'd miss, I think, would be anything that had to do with like creative things that I've maybe made. And it's not like I always go back and look at that stuff either. I'm not like, sometimes I do, but I'm not looking at it and working actively on like finishing some projects or whatever. Like I'm not always like organized with it or like working on it. But that was the thing that I was so surprised to think that I was like in my mind I was just like, F it, I don't need to like consider packing all this stuff. Like I don't need it. Like I'd say outside of the artistic works, creative works, like my guitar, my keyboard, my other guitar, things like that, I would probably want if I had space for them, just because like it's therapeutic for me, but you can get another one, you know, um, like I'm not saying I'm not attached to my stuff. I'm not saying I'm not attached to this house or my bedroom, and it's like literally this is my not my childhood bedroom, but since I was a kid, we lived here. I want to say it was like 1999, like I think my sophomore or freshman year of high school. We moved here. So yeah, I think it was my sophomore year, because I graduated in 2002, from high school, but I was 18 at the time when I graduated. I was like a year older than most people because I started school in Missouri when I was a kid. But yeah, like I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, like there are, I have like on my horizontal dresser, I've got a couple pictures. My sister's into photography, so a couple pictures that she took for me of some very beautiful ocean views that she framed for some gifts. I have those. I have a basket full of a bunch of like bracelets and like kind of like souvenir patches, stickers, and like lanyards that you get from like concerts and stuff like that, or like little souvenirs. Like I don't really buy a lot of souvenirs, but when I do buy souvenirs, it's usually like stickers, patches. I have some shamisen instrument things. I have a shogi board with the shogi pieces. It's like basically like Japanese chess technically. I've got like a photo of one of my friends' weddings. They had a photo booth and we took some fun little photos wearing these like different hats and stuff. I have a picture that I made in it's like we made these like rubber stamps, and I have this picture of this like kind of little homey looking character that's got like sweats on and like a beanie pulled over its eyes and a necklace and baggy pants, kind of like those Junko jeans, and some big like fat like skater sneakers, holding a cassette tape out like in the picture. And that it was like a rubber stamp that we made, and we basically carved out the parts and made it so that when we paint the whole thing black, you can use it and stamp it onto something else, and it shows like the outline. And so I kept that. A couple journals, some gifts from a friend in Cambodia, some gifts from some old incense, gifts from like my siblings, this gift from Zimbabwe, another gift from Zimbabwe. It's mostly just gifts, and then like I've got some incense and candles and stuff. And so that's mostly what I have that it's stuff from people or like memories, but it's not, you know, it's stuff that I like to look at when I'm sitting in my room. And that's a nice place to like display it. And then I've got on my keyboard, I've got some sheet music. Some of it's from when I used to jam in grad school at Cal State LA. Very artistic school, and found a lot of musicians there that I'm still friends with these days. And I've got my Metallica S&M sheet music. I think it was by, did it say Guitar Player or Guitar One magazine? I think they made that sheet music, and I think it comes, the CD I remember was a double CD, and I think the sheet music was a double. I think there were 2 books, and it was really expensive. I got it back when like Sam Goody was like still around at the malls and stuff, and some stuff from like the early 2000s of like just some guitar tabs that one of my friends had printed out because we were gonna play a show. And I remember like that's when I got introduced to like the Dead Kennedys and some of those kind of, you know, bands, like punk bands and stuff. And I was like learning some of the chords, and my friend printed those out for me, and it has like the old like URLs with like the dates at the bottom and stuff. And I you know, when I was sifting through some old things to throw out, I saw those and I kept it, so it's up on my keyboard music stand. I've got a little harmonica that my great grandmother gave me that is from, I don't know, it's from her. She passed at like 105 years old, but I got that harmonica from her. I've got a little marimba that my brother gave me. Some more. I've got a little ocarina, a little teeny one that one of my friends gave me. It was from Yap, in Micronesia. She gave it to me as a souvenir, and some guitar picks. I actually put in my go bag a little leather. One of my sister's boyfriend gave me for, I think it was the first gift he gave me that was for like a holiday gift. It was a little pouch. It was like a little leather single snap pouch that it was like almost the size of like a larger guitar pick, but it was still really small. And it's a little pouch that you can like put guitar picks in and like snap it closed, and then you can kind of like put it on your guitar strap or your belt buckle or something like that. And so I put that in my to-go bag because it's got some of my favorite guitar picks in it. And you know, I was looking around and I was like, you know, there's nothing else that I really would take, you know. Those are the things I've named, but they're not things that I would take, all of them, you know. Just the things that I said were in my bag, you know. And I thought about, you know, there's canned goods in the house and stuff, and all that kind of stuff, you know. But I wasn't I'm not like fully prepared. Like, I don't have like a bunch of cash on hand. You know, like I said, like food isn't packed, you know, that kind of stuff. It was just more like, if I needed clothes on my back, you know, these are the things I would bring. And the bags are literally open because it's stuff that I use. So I'm like, I kept the bags kind of open in case I need to still access it last night, and like a towel, washcloth, soap, that kind of thing. And so it's like a little duffel bag, the one that I take to the gym, a little backpack, because it's got like a lock on, like a code lock on the main pocket of the backpack, the larger area of the backpack. And my hot cold bag that I use when I do Ubering, I put some water bottles in there, and my plan was put the backpack in the hot cold bag, and then just strap the duffel around my shoulder and pack it in the car, and that would just be me right out the door, you know. The keys are hanging, you know, there's like a nail that's on like a post in the dining room, and the keys are just hanging from there. on a lanyard from a. I keep it on a colorful lanyard. I either use in an old like neon green Nvidia lanyard, or I use my what do you call it, Comic-Con lanyard. It's like a bright orange, so it's hard, I don't like everyone who's lost their keys. We all know how much it sucks. I don't like losing my keys, so I basically put it on something as bright as possible, because I kind of share the car too, and so I don't want any mistake of like, oh, somebody put this in their pocket and they thought it was theirs. It's like, no, it's got this long string on it. It's gonna be easy to find. No matter who has it, you'll be able to like spot it because of the lanyard. So, and I have this little pouch where I keep, like, when I go to hotels and stuff. It has all my chargers. I need to double check it. I don't know if I have an iPhone charger, or I do maybe have one, but it's like a smaller one. The car has an iPhone charger, but just, yeah, stuff like that. I was a little bit like, if I lost all the rest of my stuff, like, it would suck. I don't want that to happen, but I'd move on, and trying to take it and carry it would maybe drag me down, because I was thinking about all those people that had to park their cars and walk because the traffic was so bad that they weren't getting out fast enough. And they're like, well, walking's probably faster because we're not going to get out if we're just sitting here for like hours on end. So people started walking and parking their cars. And I was like, well, I got to take enough that I can walk, or run, but yeah, I was just very, I was just very surprised at the process. Like, I've never really had to do that, not since the tsunami warning, when there was that Japan earthquake and they had their tsunami, and then the water, there was that risk of a tsunami off the coast of LA, or at least that's what we were told, that there was a risk of that. And I'm coastal, so I'm not like right there, but I mean, I'm close enough to worry. And especially coming from someone who knows nothing about tsunamis. And so, that was an experience that I don't want to have again, but it was pretty eye-opening. Like, what do you bring? What do you take? What do you leave? I feel for those people who lost their homes. Like, I don't care if they were wealthy or poor, or a superstar, or a celebrity, or just your average Joe. I feel for all those people that lost their homes. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine just being like, it's gone. Like, I had to leave, and then I come back and it's like, it's gone, and you already know it's not going to be an easy process to get that back. That's like the scariest thing. And when you have people that you're, I don't know, people that you're not so sure, how they would take it. Because I think, I'm younger than my parents. Obviously, I'm younger than them. And, for me, it's like, I don't really have that. I don't have like an attitude where I'm like, I want to lose everything and not have a thing. I don't have that attitude. But, I'm very, I'm very creative. And so for me, it's like, as long as I can be creative, I'm usually, pretty fulfilled. Like, I don't really need a lot of stuff, like physical stuff. I like it. I'm not saying I hate on having physical stuff, but I don't really, I know that, if I just sat in a room by myself, and as long as I have what I need to create and think and learn, I'd probably be pretty happy with that. I don't really require all that much more. When I'm talking about like what actually brings me joy, that's what brings me joy. I don't, and especially like my social life and things like that, it brings me joy. But, I'm not like super attached. Like I'm not like hoarding. I have a bad habit of like keeping stuff and not like cleaning it, like not like throwing out stuff. But I have at least once a year, I try now to kind of go through my things and be like, what don't I need? And after moving back to LA for the last couple of years, it has taken me a while to kind of clean out my childhood bedroom, because I've had stuff in here from like high school that I left when I was in college, and then in grad school after that, once I moved down to San Diego, I still had some stuff that was like super old. So I did finally get through the rest of the cleaning in 2024, to the point that, like, I guess the way I could describe my bedroom is that I don't have that many clothes. I have like a couple like hanging shelves, and then a couple like just like those zipper storage bags that I keep in my brother's room. I use those as a dresser, and I fold my clothes and just put them in those little, they're kind of cloth, and I just put them in there to keep them in one spot, or two spots basically. And otherwise, I've got a horizontal dresser next to my desk, and then in my closet I've got an upright dresser, and all those except for one, I think I've got one sock and underwear drawer. It's like old socks, like those kind of like fuzzy booties and stuff that you get. So I've got like some old socks in there, and then it's not even filled. And then I've got a drawer at the bottom in my closet that's got like, basically I use it like, say I wear a pair of jeans, go to the store, come back, when I'm home, I don't wear the same clothes that I wear when I'm out. I have different clothes for in the house. I don't like sitting in my bed and stuff with the clothes that I just wore when I was out in public. I have different clothes that I sit around the house in. And so, my outdoor clothes, when I'm actually being pretty tidy, I fold them up and I put them in that bottom drawer. So that bottom drawer is like, it's stuff that I've used, but it's like I barely just went and ran some errands and came back or something. Like I wasn't out all day. It's not dirty, or like sweaters that I'm wearing and stuff like that. Like it's not like socks and underwear. It's like stuff that I could still wear again. So that's what's in the bottom drawer. And otherwise, the rest of my drawers are filled with other things. It's mostly books. I've got a lot of spiritual and religious books of various cultures. I've got a drawer that's got some old journals and writings. I've got a drawer that's got just the stuff. It's like an extension of my desk, because my desk only has one drawer. So because this dresser's next to the desk, the top drawer that's closest to my desk has like, envelopes and like kind of like backup toiletries and stuff. Like, how when you go to a hotel you get those like little lotions and soaps and things. And so I've got some extra little things like that in there. Stamps, envelopes, stationery, that kind of stuff. Post-its, that kind of thing. I've got a drawer that's got old like DVDs and CDs that were like burned and stuff, and then a bottom drawer under that. I think it's like some computer parts. I've got another drawer that's got in my closet. I've got a drawer. Well, I've got like a stack of magazines, computer music magazines, and a few of the guitar magazines, and some of the CD-ROMs, DVD-ROMs that came with my music magazines from back in the day. I've got a drawer, and these drawers aren't even filled. They're just like, there's like a layer of stuff in there, because that's how I kind of organize things. It's just stick it in a drawer, like put it in the drawer that it goes in. I've got that drawer that's got like some electronics, like old like universal chargers and just like random stuff like that. Another drawer that's got some other books, like bills, tax related stuff, medical stuff that I've gotten in the mail, like records and things like that. And I think one of the drawers is empty. One of the drawers might be empty or like mostly empty. So that's pretty much what I have in the drawers. I've got a nightstand on my left that's got 2 drawers. There's nothing in either of those drawers anymore. And then I've got a nightstand on my right where I keep because I eat in my room and stuff. I've got like some napkins, a placemat, some like little disposable like forks and spoons, little hot sauce packets, like disposable ones, just all in a Ziploc. I've got my back massager. And then the bottom drawer has Magic the Gathering cards. Like that's where I keep a couple sets of Magic the Gathering. I've got like 2 or 3 boxes, I guess, of cards. I think that's about all I own. I've got some miscellaneous stuff here and there, but that's about all I have, other than like books and just stuff that's on my desk, little trinkets and things. But that's kind of, it is a lot of stuff, it is, some of it's junk. I don't really use it on a day-to-day, but most of the stuff I kept since I've cleaned pretty thoroughly is stuff that I do find myself using. Even the Magic the Gathering cards, I do use those. I do play. I play more online with Arena, but every now and then I like practice some strategies and stuff, and I'm a complete nerd, but like that's the kind of stuff that I keep in my room. And pretty much none of that stuff would have been coming with me. So, I've got my hats on top of my bookshelf. But yeah, it's not the end of things, For me, I've got a lot that I'm still enjoying, a lot that I'm still doing. I'm not, we're not fully in the clear. Until they get everything contained, I don't consider anything to be fully in the clear. Who knows what nature is going to be doing, but yeah, I do feel for the people in the tragedy of things. I really do. But I'm just talking about my own life. It's like, it was just kind of eye-opening, to have a thought of like, oh, like I could be rid of all of this stuff, and at my age, just be like, start from scratch, to me that, I don't want to lose my house like that or anything. I'd be more worried for my family, if that happened. But for myself, it's like, it would suck for a while, I know. I wouldn't want to be homeless. It would suck having to use shelters and hotels and relying on these systems in place to kind of like follow through and not disappoint. And who knows how insurance is with people having to rebuild. But, there was a part of me that was just kind of like, in a strange way, like relieved, just to think that like, okay, my life still kind of fits in like a couple bags. And it, it kind of reduced everything down until last night. I was thinking like, what is actually important in my life? It's not all the stuff, the temporary happiness that my belongings can bring me. Some of it's for entertainment, a lot of it's for creativity and learning and being productive. Otherwise, I don't collect a lot of stuff. I heard an ad last night. I think it was an ad. I don't remember what it was for, but it was pretty interesting. There was this ad that said, in my lifetime, I'm going to have, I don't remember what they were even talking about, but I don't know what the point of the ad was. It was like a YouTube ad. Because I don't have the premium subscription, I canceled it because I don't want to pay like $19 a month. But they were saying like, in your life, it made it sound like the average person does this. It's like, I'm gonna have like however many of this and however many of that. And I just remember when they said phones, like, I'm gonna have like 40, I think they said 40 or 14, like 14 or 40 something, like, smartphones in my lifetime. And I'm just thinking, like, who goes through 40 phones? Or even if it was 14, like, who goes through 14 phones? Like, I don't even think I've had 14 phones. I've had my Ericsson. That was my first phone in high school. I had this LG flip phone. I had a Razr. I don't remember if I had two Razrs. I feel like I had a silver one, and then maybe I had a different colored one. I either had one or two Razrs. Let's say I had two. I don't even remember. And then from there I got iPhone 4, then iPhone 6, and now this is X. So that's what, like 8 phones. And if it wasn't for iPhones becoming obsolete, I would have kept the 4. Like, my home button wasn't really working that well, but I liked the 4 because it was smaller than all the others. I don't like having a bigger phone. I wanted the tiny one. But you can't even upgrade apps on it anymore, so it's kind of pointless to keep, or pointless to use. I've got a backup Motorola phone. It's my backup phone because I got a cheap phone so I could run Google Wi-Fi. So when I'm out of town, if I need Wi-Fi, I bring that phone with me, and then it's just like a backup phone that I keep like at the hotel or whatever in case I'm out and lose my phone. At least I have something where I can check email and make phone calls, and I'd probably have to use a Google Voice number, but yeah, it's a spare phone basically. And I have my old iPhone 4. I usually keep those in my little electronics pouch that I travel with. But I don't know. It was a weird experience. It was an interesting way to end my night. I think it kind of, it just brought up a lot that I was like a little shocked. I was like, oh, this is a little surprising, that I'm feeling this way. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know if I've got like way too much more to talk about on that topic. But it was just interesting. And it's interesting that this process of packing a to-go bag was different than the one with the tsunami. Like, I feel like with the tsunami, I didn't really put much thought into it. I remember packing a bunch of like canned goods and like a change of clothes, I guess. But this one, I mean, like, how do you even outrun a tsunami? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, leave? Like, what do you do? In a tsunami? I don't know. Like, I don't understand any real natural disasters. I don't really know what you do. I'm used to earthquakes, which they just come out of the blue and you don't really have time to prepare anyways. So it's like, whatever. Don't even tell me what's happening and just do what you're gonna do, nature. But it was an interesting process. Kind of eye-opening. I had to take myself offline, off of watching the news, and be like, okay, I need to focus on some other stuff. And I kind of dove into some other topics and realized, I spent 2 whole days just like absorbed by content that I don't normally watch. I mean, I usually don't expose myself to that much tragedy for obvious reasons. It's not healthy, but I just don't do it usually. But because it was something that I was like, it's local enough that I kind of need to know what's going on. Like, I didn't need to know what was going on maybe that badly. Like, it wasn't going to affect me that soon, but I still wasn't sure if the fires were going to keep coming south, because I live a little south of LAX. So I was like, I don't really know. But it also helped me think about, what I want to... I said I wasn't going to talk about the fires, but here I am. We're almost an hour in. Sorry, guys. But I guess that's kind of what's on my mind. I had no real topic, and this is kind of what's coming out of that. But I saw some of the content creators whose stuff I love, who were posting about some of the stuff that they're doing. They were offering, to help people, to put up a couple people, at their place if somebody needed a place to stay and all that. And I was just thinking, how I'd like to be in that position like that, or where I could offer. I mean, LA's rough. I don't know if I'd really be just inviting any old body into my place, but if there was a safe way to do it, I would like that opportunity, to be supportive in that way, or to have like maybe a back house where people could stay, a little studio or something, where somebody could like stay in it, like a guest house or some little like studio space where people could stay, and if they needed it. I've learned my lesson with housemates, roommates, that it's not for me. And I know trying to share with property with strangers who are in a recent tragedy, and you don't really know their resource options and stuff. But I mean, I'd really like to be in a position to have the option to at least say yes or no to being able to help with doing something like that, or I don't know. Like, I've got a heart for the homeless and for the unhoused, and for people who are stricken by poverty, and especially people who have PTSD, and the trauma affects their ability to kind of have like a stable life to the point where they could support themselves and keep financially moving up and becoming more and more stable. I have a heart for those people, because I could see myself easily being in that position. I'm not in that position, and I think the only reason why I'm not in that position is because I've got family and friends and people who I've either come across or who I'm in touch with, that have allowed me that space to kind of rest and recover. I think a lot of times when people have trauma, they have to just be in go mode all the time, and they don't have like months on end that they can take within a couple years here or a couple years there to kind of like rest and recover, get to work. Okay, if it didn't work out, you still need to like rest and like get your health back, and then maybe work some more, and then rest and get your health back. And like slowly, it takes, I'd say for myself, I've noticed it probably takes maybe 2 years or so of a process of kind of back and forth of like diving into work and things, and then backing off a little bit, just to get myself kind of more steady when I do get in kind of like a bad time period of my life. But I feel like a lot of people don't have anybody like that who's gonna let them kind of get what they need to like recover. At least for me, that's what's worked. With things like PTSD or whatever, like it just, I'm not saying that not working helps, but not having that pressure of all that extra stress of like when you literally cannot do it, to not have to wake up and make yourself absolutely do it when you cannot do it. And what it looks like learning even what it looks like when you just can't, because some days it's like and it's not that many days, I wouldn't say, but I know for myself, it's like some days I just cannot do what I need to do, and I've gone through life just forcing myself to do things when I shouldn't, like when for my health I shouldn't. And I'm not saying I haven't pushed hard. I mean, I've worked my butt off. A lot of things haven't worked out smoothly at times, but I've definitely worked to get the education that I have, the experience that I have, the knowledge that I have. You know, it doesn't come from, you know, sitting and watching Netflix all day. Like, you know, I worked very, very diligently to get my degrees and to work in mental health and to create like a reputation for myself in the workforce, to the point where, you know, at least in that field, I get job offers. Like I you know, pretty much I've had maybe 3 jobs in the field. That the last one didn't last long, but maybe 3 jobs in the field, and all 3 of them, they wanted me. I didn't really necessarily have to do a classic application process. I had a practicum that I applied for. I got the practicum. When school ended for me, because I wasn't able to finish, unfortunately, but when it ended for me, they offered me the job. From that job, when they opened up a new site, they offered me that job. Yes, I did interview for both of those, but like, and handed in the application and everything, but that's, you know, they handed me the jobs. And then from that job, I got recruited into this other job. And even though I left that job, they've literally just contacted me this week and asked me if I want to work for them again. It's like I haven't even had to apply for the jobs. You know, I've just gotten the jobs because of the work that I put in, and I'm a good employee. And you know, so it's not that finding work is that difficult for me in that field. If I wanted to be in that field, I could have work tomorrow. Well, I don't know if I'd start tomorrow, but I could have work, because there is work that people are, you know, trying to contact me for, and I'm not even applying for it. So, you know, they just know me, and so, and the places that I've left, they've all said I could come back. And I've had another place that I left that said that, you know, they actually contacted me back, and we were going back and forth about like pay rates and stuff, and they're like, could you come back and work? We would like to have you back, and this is what we're willing to offer. It's like I've gotten job offers without even applying, you know. So, you know, that doesn't come out of nowhere, you know. It comes out of, you know, just being good at what you do. And you know, but I definitely overextended myself. I basically, for maybe 2 years or so, I said yes to everything that I was asked to do, even if I had to work secret overtime to like finish it. I said yes to everything. I was like, yes, I will do that. Yes, I will take this crisis call. Yes, I will do that work. Yes, I will, you know, take someone else's, you know, they have to go home early. Yes, I'll see their clients for the day. Like, yes, I'll do this group. Yes, I'll do that extra paperwork. Yes, I'll file those extra things. Like, yes, I'll volunteer to like do this or that or this or that. And like, you know, the first year, I don't think I took any PTO. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is not good. It's not necessarily good. But it got me to a place where I have some form of job security, even if it's in a field that I don't want. I could get work. So I'm not so worried about that. But with it came a lot of extra trauma, you know, that I was not handling. And then, you know, I already had some things going on before going into even working in mental health. But, you know, it got worse because I wasn't really like managing, like caring for my own self. But I've definitely had the time to recover from stuff, and you know, I think that's what helps, is that I wasn't, like, not, I wouldn't say I was, like, babied or coddled, but, because that's kind of how it feels. Like, in my head, it's like, it feels like, am I being a slacker? But I know where it's coming from. I don't want other people to think, oh, you slack, and, like, you don't work hard. It's like, I actually overdid it, guys. I overdid it to a point where I messed myself up, to a point where I couldn't function at work the way I needed to. And so that's had like a longer term effect than what I thought. But I'm not that old yet, and I'm not retired yet, and I've still got at least 25 years, if not more, left of work in me. And, but I've had that time to heal and recover. A lot of people don't get that, and I feel like if you have to just extend yourself and do it over and over and over again with no time to heal, you're gonna keep those wounds kind of open, and then you're trying to function with open wounds, kind of like it never heals, and then it gets what almost seems like reinfected, and then it's like it never fully heals, and I think that's probably the difference in my life that I've noticed. And if I could give somebody else that opportunity to just if they, even if it was from like a natural disaster trauma or some other kind of situations where they're homeless or something, I would love to be able to like give people that time to like heal. Even if I don't want to be like their therapist necessarily or anything like that, but I'd like to provide like that environment where they could rest and not have to focus so much on like, where's my next meal, where are my finances coming from, like, can I eat today, and having to manage all that other stuff. Now, I do think that having to manage all that other stuff, to some extent, you do have to have a routine. You do have to have like, you can't just like sleep all day every day for like a year, like that's not going to help most people. Like like there's going to be that rest period maybe, or whatever that looks like, and then pushing through, and little by little kind of building up that stamina more and more, till you can kind of tolerate like getting back into things. Or even if you can't fully get back to working more than 40 hours a week, because I know, like, if I look at my life, I should really be working 30 to 32 hours if I'm gonna actually manage things. Like, I need 3 days off. I know that. And like I said, like, I worry about sounding like I'm trying to be coddled or trying to be like lazy, but that's not the case. Like, that's not the case at all. I know it's not the case. It's just, it is something that I would worry about other people thinking, but also, who cares? Like, people who are going to be judging on that end, like, you can't pay attention to them. They don't know you, they don't know you, or else they wouldn't be saying those kind of things. They don't really know your whole situation. A lot of those kind of thoughts come out of jealousy. They think that, oh, I'd like to, maybe they need the rest, and they're like, I'd like to rest, I need a break. And it's like, yeah, maybe you do need the rest, maybe you do need a break, but it doesn't mean that other people don't need a break or they don't deserve a break. It's like, I think in American work culture, we get worked too hard, and depending what kind of job you have, it is not the best for everybody. It's kind of, for me, it's kind of sad because my skills are in, that kind of realm of like mental health and like compassion work and that kind of thing. But I don't have the same ability to really tolerate that kind of thing anymore. And also fully function myself. I just don't. I've tried. I just don't. It's not helpful for me. To help people in that way so often for that many hours a week, and for that little of pay in addition. So It's taken some time to kind of get things to a place where I kind of understand my roles with things. It's kind of like new. There's a lot of newness in the last couple years for me. This is the strangest start to a new year I've ever experienced. 2025 is really just hitting us hard over here. But I don't really know. I've got a lot of things to say about these types of topics, but I wasn't expecting to like go into it, and now, I don't want to keep talking about it, but I've got some other content I actually need to post from the other days. So I might post that with this episode, and then I got a lot of stuff I need to do today, because I've got the energy to do it, so I'm gonna go do those things, and you guys will see what gets updated as it does get updated. Keep checking back, and thanks for listening.